Hey guys, Kirby here today, and today I want to talk about some Jurassic Park lore or some Jurassic Park facts that I know about. Now, some of you may know all of this, and some of you may not. So, yeah. And if you've not seen Jurassic Park, I advise you to go watch the movie and then come back. We'll also be talking about some misconceptions. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is Isla Nublar, how Rexy is the only carnivore. That is a misconception because through other things, there are actually more than one. Rexy is not the only carnivore, and actually does have competition. But there's three sources I want to point out. There's the book, and then there's the sequel game. I call it the sequel game because the Jurassic Park is a game made in 2015, not 2015, 2011. It's one of these years. Yeah, it's 2011. I'm sorry. Um, it's that game takes place during all the events. Now, of course, many of you know this. I've played it, but I haven't. I actually do watch the movie. I have, but I know this, but I haven't played it. But I've seen like some of my favorite YouTubers play it, and of course, it mentions the line where like, "Oh, some hot stuff paleontologists are down there looking at Triceratops," which gives you a clue that this is happening at the same time. The game is happening at the same time as Jurassic Park is happening. So if we're gonna go by the book, is that there is a two T Rexes, as there's the Rexy, and of course the original T Rex, the big T Rex, and then there's the juvenile T Rex, and then there was lots of raptors as raptors were breeding constantly. So there's tons of raptors on the island, and then there's two T Rexes and the Dilophosaur. Many Dilophosaurs to be in fact. Then, if we can look at the game, which also has very many Dilophosaurs, but also add Mosasaur and Troodon, which was not actually part of the movie itself, but so. And also, the game shows also many more Velociraptors, as in one part of the game, one of the characters kills a Velociraptor, because there was three. And if you look back in the movie, there were three Velociraptors, but the T Rex had killed all of its three, and one was locked in. So those Velociraptors in the gameplay could not be the same ones as one was killed. Now you could say, oh yeah, but they could be the same, but the game's just being the game, being completely different. Mind you, also the fact that of course they were also the game, but I also like to reference this because it's happening at the same time these events happen. And also they find it as an injury and it can't get squished by the T-Rex. So, yeah. And then we go to the movie. As for in the movie, all the raptors were killed, and Rexy is so far known as the only carnivore, which is also false, as there are other carnivores such as the Dilophosaurus and Harasaurus, which, if you look at a Jurassic Park map, is on the map, but is not listed throughout the movie. But there is Harasaurus on it, which is a medium-sized carnivore. Reckon the Dilophosaurus and Harasaurus would not cause the T-Rex, or Rexy, as everyone likes to call her, since it's the original Jurassic Park T-Rex, any problems of competition, but there would be other carnivores on the island. So there, I mean, but if you look at it, there's many more carnivores throughout each thing. The book has, more Velociraptors and more Dilophosaurs. The movie has Harasaurs and has still the Dilophosaurs, but the raptors were killed. And then in the game, the sequel game, or no, not the sequel game, the continuation game is better. How I would put it betterly. Adds more Velociraptors, more Dilophosaurs, and Troodons, and a Mosasaur. And then the book also has the juvenile T-Rex, which that would be the only competition that the T Rex would ever have on Isla Nublar would be that juvenile T Rex. But so it depends on which way you look at. There's always more carnivores, but the the continuation game and the movie Rexy has no competition. Unlike the book, where the juvenile T Rex could cause Rexy some competition, but it really wouldn't. She'll probably just chase off the juvenile, causing juvenile competition. But anyways, but if since these are all the same thing, I would like. I imagine if we combine it all together, we would have lots of Dilophosaurus. We will still have Velociraptors, tons of them, in fact. Then we would have Troodons, a Mosasaur, um, and a juvenile T Rex along and Hararosaur along with Rexy, showing that there are very many carnivores. And wait, I forgot a carnivore. I think Coelophysis or Compsognathus. Sorry, I get those two mixed up all the time. But yeah, but the Compsognathuses are in the first book also. So they're really not going to cause any competition for food. But so yeah. But so there's many more carnivores than just Rexy on the island, as that is just a misconception on how she's the only carnivore in Isla Nublar, which is not true. Now, where did the Spinosaurus? Jurassic Park 3, the Spinosaurus had came out of nowhere. Now, I mentioned it, but there's some following sources. I've and watching some. I do watch YouTubers. Okay, I'm a YouTuber. And I watch other YouTubers. It's wait, what am I supposed to do with my life? Just sit around and do work all day? No. But thanks to the Cravens, I don't know how you pronounce him, but I'll leave a link to his channel in the description down below in case you want to check it out. But he said that and mentions it in the book on how Dr. Wu wanted to make the dinosaurs look better. And now this also explains the Velociraptors. Now, when I reviewed Jurassic Park 3, I said, oh, did the raptors, get quills and not move to the island? When I realized I was completely wrong. It was on two different parts of the island. The third movie takes place on the northern part, and the second movie takes place, or the second book takes place on the southern part of the island. So there are two different groups of Velociraptors, which would make sense. And also Dr. Wu tampering and creating things that John Hammond did not want. So he added feathers or quills, I prefer to call them quills because they're more like quills than feathers anyways, on the raptors, so making our second group of raptors on the northern part. This could also explain where the Spinosaurus came from, as it wasn't intentional for InGen to make it, so it could be one of Dr. Wu's creations to make visitors happy and entertain more people other than just having a T-Rex. This could explain where most dinosaurs that were never part of the original thing came from. The Ankylosaur, the Ceratosaur, and definitely, probably, I'm going to buy this for the Spinosaurus, as it was a part of InGen's list, so Dr. Wu probably created it and was seeing what can it do. Can it really be a real showstopper along with the T-Rex? Now, I also want to talk about the second movie a little bit. Now, I love the second movie, but everyone has their opinions. A lot of people hate it for it being so drastically different, and a lot of people love it that it's different. I'm one of the people, that love the movie. Now, by doing some research and going on YouTube, seeing the debate, I've seen that a people who review this movie, because I did research before I did this, that some of the people that reviewed this movie actually it was equal. More people hated it than people liked it, because Decker Shadow, one of the YouTubers, CinemaSins, are two people I can list that seem to dislike the movie. Of course, CinemaSins. If you watch them, I'll leave this, all the links to their channels in the description below. They always rant on every movie, which is their job, but by watching their video, they seem to dislike it. Also, but they also mention there's great parts of it, but they also seem to hate the San Diego T-Rex scene, which I'm going to buy that they dislike the movie. And another great YouTuber, Derek Shao, go check out his channel. I'll put his description to the video in case you want it. Also seems to not like Jurassic Lost World Jurassic Park, as he mentioned it is different and he does not like the difference. And then Chris, which is another YouTuber, I'll put all their links in the description below in case you want to go check out their channels. Why do I keep repeating that? But get on the point. Seems to like the movie, and so far there are YouTubers that do like it, but I just want to point out these because these are like actually really good YouTubers, and I do watch some of their videos, but not all the time. But I like The Lost World because it is different. It's showing Site B, which is a much darker place than. Sorry, cold. Sorry. Because as I said before, some people hate it, some people like it for the difference. I also want to talk about the pteranodons, because a lot of people question, okay, so if the pteranodons were free, how are they locked back in? Well, as I mentioned before about Doctor Who tampering, he could have also. As I said, this probably explains a lot of things about the second and third movie that happened. This also could explain why there are pteranodons that are free and pteranodons that are caged up. Now, there could have been pteranodons, or it could be that there is a big when I speak English. Okay, before I get on to the part, my thing is I just say they probably are just like a big opening in their bird cage, which really makes sense because there were no fences or cages said to John Hammond by the second movie. That there's probably a huge opening created by them that seems to be in so they can get in and out as that is their territory. Now I'll get back. Since Doctor wanted to make different, adjust and make dinosaurs look better, so making a separate, pteranodon group is probably what he did. Assuming that there are some pteranodons that are free, and then there's another group of pteranodons that are caged up. See, when you really look down to it, most of the things can actually be explained. The spinosaurs really didn't come out of nowhere. Well, it did, but it also could have a really great explanation on how that Doctor Who created to see what would happen, and maybe he can, and to maybe get more visitors or tourists, liking it. Have another main attraction along with the T-Rex. I mean, it makes sense in my eyes. Wasn't? Oh, I really have bad memory. I wrote all this down. Can't remember. Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I just remembered. Sorry, I have really bad memory, and I had to look at my thing real quick. But I also want to talk about the Spinosaurus. Now we've been talking about most misconceptions and also lore. Well, fun fact: if you have not seen Jurassic World, I advise you go watch it. And if you have, I think most of you probably know this. But if you don't, that the T Rex in Jurassic World is actually the same T Rex in the from the first movie. I bet about everyone knows this by now, but there, in case if you don't, there. Now I want to talk about the Spinosaurus wait being right behind them without them even hearing it. Now that's probably just the movie directors, just putting right there. All of a sudden, boom, there's a Spinosaur, which it basically is. But I want to think of explanations that could possibly explain these incidents happening. Now, the Spinosaurus could have been, resting in the area, like as it was in the from the beginning of the movie. How when the airplane lands, it's in the area resting. But the thing is, you don't feel any stomping. All you hear are trees shaking and roaring. So what it could possibly be is it was resting in that area, and they heard it, so then it walks to it to see what's going on. Of course, hearing yelling and screaming, any predator would be attracted to that, thinking, is there an injured animal? Can I finish it off and have an easy, quick meal? So, boom there. I know originally I stated that the T Rex that was killed in Jurassic Park 3 is a baby T Rex from the Lost World. Most people say that it isn't, it's completely different T Rex, but I want to stay on my claim that it is the juvenile T Rex. Now, I mean, there are so many facts pointing to it on how the Rexy, the original T Rex, was created in 1990, but then grew in 3 years, became full size. So this movie, taken in 2001, and The Lost World taking place in 1997, that is a 4-year gap. That is plenty time enough for the juvenile T Rex or the baby T Rex in the second movie to become a juvenile in enough time for that movie to take place. And most people point out, oh yeah, but this T Rex was in Northern Part Island, which that would make sense if the baby moved on, because it being a juvenile now it has to move away from its parents, as the parents would kill it. No longer seeing it as their infant, seeing it as another T Rex, meaning competition for prey. It's not like, it's not like a flock of ducks where, oh yeah, there's a babies, okay, the babies, are full grown now. They're not going to hurt them, they're going to stay. It's not like that. It's the best put example is male lions. As the cub is born, the male lion isn't going to do anything. But as soon as that cub becomes a juvenile lion, that juvenile lion's gotta leave, or else the alpha male lion will kill it. So that's what it probably did. And finding out and since the T Rex family was in the southern part, moving up to the northern part or into that area would be the best possible choice for it, as there, quote unquote, were no large predators. Well, the Spinosaurus was there, would be the only competition. I also want to talk about a realistic battle. If a T Rex versus Spinosaurus rematch were to happen, we all know who would win. That would be the T Rex. Doing to their mistake, I mean, I want to say it's James John Horner. I think that's his name, because he was the person. John Horner is a paleontologist who hates and despises T Rex and says it's a scavenger and it's a hunter. Well, actually, it was both. Because any carnivore is going to be a scavenger and a hunter. Because John Horner said, oh, a T-Rex is just a scavenger, it's too big and slow. So, and of course, he was the one in charge of making Jurassic Park 3. And Steven Spielberg always wanted to make these dinosaurs as realistic as possible. But another thing is, Steven Spielberg didn't make Jurassic Park 3 What is it with Steven Spielberg? Every time there's a third movie that to one of his greatest franchises, and he never makes it. Jaws 3, that wasn't him at all. He was busy making E.T. at the time, so he left someone else to do it, and that movie looks like crap. And I mean, I'm not saying the plot's bad, but in the movie looks really bad. Get a point? So he left someone else, the director, which I do not care about because the movie is really bad. But anyways, what? So John Horner, being in charge of the dinosaurs, of course he would make T-Rex eat a dead carcass, but they also forget the fact that any carnivore, any carnivorous animal will hunt and kill. Because what carnivore would leave a perfectly good kill or a perfectly good dead body right there? Any carnivore is going to take a chance of a free meal because they do not know when their next meal will be. As of course, a T-Rex did hunt, but it also scavenged too, especially at younger ages due to them not being as strong as a fully grown T-Rex. So that would make sense. So, yeah. Man, I keep having these blank notes. But if there's one thing, I want to talk about how people hate The Lost World, okay? But if there's one thing we can all agree on, that people who hate The Lost World and people who like The Lost World, we can all agree that Jurassic Park 3 is a much worse movie. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just bad. Even though you could explain the movie, you cannot fully understand it as there are key concept parts that are really empty and brittle. Like, I made an explanation for the spiders coming from, but I mean, but that could or could not be it because we don't know where this animal came from. Reckon it was in the northern part of the island, which I actually didn't know. I thought they were all on the same part of the island, but I didn't know there was a southern where they movie took place in the southern part. Which actually, I mean, yeah, it could have been in the northern part, so maybe that's why I didn't see it. But by the looks of it, they look like they traveled the entire island. Right? And this is a huge island. So maybe they did travel maybe somewhat through it, maybe just all the way through the southern part, but they had to enter the northern somewhere. Now, I also want to talk about alternative endings. There was an alternative ending to Jurassic Park where there wasn't going to be a grand T-Rex versus Raptor fight, so where we wouldn't know that that's the sec that Rexy came back in Jurassic World. It was really going to be the T-Rex pops out while Dr. Grant and children and everyone's leaving, and the T-Rex pops out and is chasing them down. And of course, they make it to the helicopter, but the T-Rex latches on the helicopter. Dr. Grant's sliding off, and of course, he gets on the helicopter, and the T-Rex lets go of the helicopter. Then there was an alternative ending to the Lost World where our main characters would die. A lot of people hate the San Diego scene, and if they went with the ending that they're going to originally with, then they would hate that because people want to know what happened to the T-Rex. Because a group of pterodactyls were supposed to attack the helicopter as they were leaving. Everyone was supposed to die, and that's how the movie was going to end. But we would not know what happened to the male T-Rex. But then people would still rant on how that ending's crap, and but still, either way, people are going to hate the ending because I much rather like the ending now because we know what happens to T-Rex, and there's all the characters are safe and alive, and Jeff Goldblum can come back for Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Then there's, unlike the ending where they all die and then we don't know what happens to the T-Rex. I mean, people are still going to complain either way, but I would have to agree with them for the ending that they're originally going to go with was the pterodactyls killing our main character. I would have to agree with them that that ending would be bad, due to not knowing what happened to the T-Rex. And also, I would rather know, how does he know that's the male T Rex? Everyone says, oh yeah, that's the male T Rex. But how do you know? Because both T Rexes look alike. The day shot, they both look exactly alike. So, for all we know, that he could have accidentally shot the female T Rex. Because everyone says, oh yeah, she was chasing down the waterfall and he shot the male. But how does he know? Did he go under the male T Rex and find out, oh yeah, there's his male part, so that's the male, before he ran back over? No. So there's no way of telling that it was a male due to them being the exact same colors. And this also brings me to the next thing I'm going to talk about. Which raptor is alive? In Jurassic World, everyone says Delta or Echo survived. But I'm going to say Charlie, Echo, or Delta survived. That one of them is still alive. Of course, we all know Blue's alive. Now, everyone's saying that it was Charlie who blew up, and Echo that got burnt, and Delta's still alive. Or most people saying that Delta is dead, which is wrong, due to Blue being really, due to her hide being really tough, as the Dominus Rex literally smacked, full forcefully smacked Blue into a stone building, and the Dominus Rex is really strong. If you have not seen the beginning of the movie, or seen Jurassic World, you should really watch it. But in the beginning of the movie, the Dominus Rex literally smacks an SUV truck, literally smacks it over, and it literally lands right next to the truck that Owen is under. So I mean, that is one really powerful hit for it to literally knock an entire truck over. And that truck went in midair also, not to forget that part. So that was one very powerful hit. So the Blue surviving it without any broken bones shows you how powerful these raptors are. So whoever that was that the Dominus Rex threw is still very much alive. And I want to point this out as how Blue, when the end was done, she was running. But you heard a Velociraptor call. Everyone assumes that was just Blue. But that wasn't her, due to the Blue running far away, and the raptor call that we heard was staying the same volume, as if it was Blue, then the volume should have got quieter. And also relating how Donald Rex drew one of the raptors to the left, in Blue, running down the main street, turned left. So I mean, one of the raptors is still very much alive. Directors don't just put stuff in there for no reason, unless they're bad movie directors. Or unless, because it's Jurassic Park. Everything has something to do with the movie. The girl, E. Malcolm's daughter in the second movie, knew genetics, and that came in later to save his life, even though I hate that moment during the entire movie. Wait, no, I don't hate. Yeah, that's my favorite. That's one of the moments I don't really care about. I don't hate it. I just never really cared about it. My most hated moment is the T-Rex response. Well, okay, on point. So, but everyone says which raptor was killed. But the thing is, we do not know that, as even in the pitch black, all the raptors looked the same. The only one we could tell who was that there was 3 other raptors in Blue. I couldn't tell who they were. The only way you could tell if it was pure daylight. Now, what happened in this movie took most place in the dark when the raptors were released, so you couldn't tell who was who. And the raptor, whenever since Charlie was killed by Rocket, how do you know? As that raptor's body was mostly covered up in the grass, and it was pitch black, so all you could see is the body, but you could not see the color scheme, as the other 3 raptors were very dark colors. Or very light colors, but even pitch black, those colors are going to look very dark. So the only color you could tell who was Blue, and there was 3 others. So 2 did die, but there is 1 left. Now that could either be Charlie, Delta, or Echo, as 2 of them had to die. We don't know which is which, as it was pitch black. So you can't just say who's who. Not saying that there is a green raptor and that there, if you look to, I know it's a game, but Lego Jurassic World had each count two green raptors, which were Echo, which was Echo and Charlie. As Charlie, and you can look on Jurassic World, the game, which has raptors, as Echo and Charlie are green raptors and the only green raptors there. And you can even look on Jurassic World in the game, and all those raptors are still very dark colors in daylight. But the only way you can recognize them is when Chris says her name, or I mean, Owen says her name with who's who, but you still don't even see who he's pointing at. All you know is blue is the obvious one with the blue streak. But even in daylight, they're still dark colors. But for all we know, is that Charlie and Echo, I think it's Echo, I can mix an Echo and Delta up, but there's two green raptors, so it's either one of the two. So that eliminates, I'm going to say it's Echo and Charlie are the green raptors. I'm going to do research later on this. So that means Delta is very much dead, as she was either the raptor that burnt or the raptor got blown up. So one raptor, but that still leaves two raptors still alive. For us not knowing what raptor was killed, which one was which, because either Echo was thrown or Charlie was thrown, and so one of them died in the fire, so two died in fire, and two are still alive. One died in the fire, one got blown up, and then two are still alive. So, I mean, it could go either way. But if you look on Lego Jurassic World, which gives a very much description of who's who, both Echo and Charlie's more of a light color, and if you look on like all the posters and stuff, or on the work limits, but this could also just be a raptor. Just some raptor silhouette. Of course, that's what all movies do. But of course, one raptor did survive. But if we do look at the poster board, we would know that a green raptor survived. And by looking at most of the things saying I would have to go that it was Charlie that ended up surviving, as he is the one that is technically the lightest color shade. It's the lightest color besides blue, and he's a light green. So, and which of course it was more of a dark and light green, but it was a mix of two. So, I'm gonna say Charlie was the one that survived, and both Echo and Delta, one burnt and one got blown up, unable to decide which is which because of their dark color schemes. Now, some people say, oh no, it's Delta, but I'm gonna go with Charlie due to all the evidence that is probably pointing that it is Charlie that is the one survived. And due to Charlie being a male, so now there are Blue and Charlie could possibly mate and make more raptors out there. So they're no longer the only velociraptors left. Some people that none of the raptors survive except for Blue, which is totally wrong. But I hope you enjoyed this video today on my discussion about, where did the spiders come from, which raptor did survive along with Blue, and, how many more other carnivores are on Eastland's Nublar other than the, wait a minute. Hold a minute. No. Yeah, Jurassic Park. I'm sorry, I was just remembering how Jurassic World the also have the Baryonyx and Stuckmann, but I just want to stick to the main part that it was 20 years before Jurassic World was built, adding the Baryonyx and Stuckmann, so let's just stick to that part. I just want to get some, because you can also say that, there's also the Baryonyx and Stuckmann, but they were added till Jurassic World came out. So you're going to have a look at a 20-year escape before those carnivores even came along. So you still have tons of carnivores left on the island. Well, thank you all for watching. This is my second time saying the intro, so I remembered something. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.